Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. And Blue says he's working his fireworks stand. So I just wanted to make sure he's being safer than the Russians.
Мужики!
So be safe, Blue. I was going to show that one later, but as you can see, the air alerts are starting to clear off. I'll play that again for everyone later. Yeah, that is like the third or fourth instance of firework unsafety in Russia in the last 2 or 3 days. I was watching Greg Terry's video, and he was on a little bit of a rant about Trump calling Ukraine flat, and I kind of wanted to iterate this for you. This is Ivanytsky, just south of Chasiv Yar. Yeah, it sure looks flat to me. This is Ivanytsky, Chasiv Yar, Bakhmut. So that is right here along the reservoir that the Russians are having trouble crossing. Pick another one at random here. Yeah, flat as a pancake, isn't it? Well, yeah, right here, because it's a dried up river bottom, but yeah, flat. Totally flat. See, I just wanted to give you some visual reference to what Greg Terry was talking about. Yeah, flat land in Ukraine. Even going up Slovansk, Oskil River here. Okay, the lake's flat. The other side, the side of the river's not. Heavily forested, like he says. The other one that's talked about a lot is the Serebryansk forest. Doesn't quite do it justice being here by the lake, but you can see the hills in the background. Steep rise up behind the camera, or away from the lake. More hills in the background. And then probably dips down behind the road on the other side. I'm just picking these at random. Here you go. Yeah, flat ground. Yeah, that this must be one of those spaceships where the Earth curves back on itself, because that's the only way flat ground could be seen like that. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a visual reference of what Greg Terry was talking about when he was complaining about Trump saying it's flat ground. Um, and you go down in like this area by Kivri. Okay, so inside a quarry pit's not the best one. Let me see if I can find a different one. Oh, inside a canyon. Still not flat ground. Let me try a different one. Let's see if we can find some flat ground in Ukraine. Um, that sure looks flat. Um, yeah, let's try way up here. Oh, on top of a castle. Okay, this one looks relatively flat. There's a little bit of hill in the background, but you see hills in the background still. You know, there is some flat ground like this, but it's rolling hills. Um, you know, these 360 cameras that they use take a nice level shot. I mean, okay, granted we are up on top of a castle here, but still. Let me try one more. There has to be at least one where it's flat ground. Um, yeah, inside the village, can't really see much. Oh, here we go. Here's some nice flat ground for you. Flat, almost straight up. So this is down south, Mirtzi. Odessa is here. Here, let me go right close to Odessa, and rolling hill, can't see past it. Low level, small, yeah, low rolling hills, but you know, it's not flat. It's not like let's pick a spot in Kansas. Oi. Um, let's go out here. Kansas is flat. Does that look like what we just saw in Ukraine? It's low rolling hills, all a bit like where I'm from, up here in Mitchell. And not a good picture. Mm, okay, here's a good example. Maybe not the best one, But you know, not flat, rolling hills. Dips down there, ridges back up here, goes uphill, then drops down behind that ridge. This is a road I'm very familiar with. You know, just go a little bit north of Mitchell. That's a residential street. Now this is north of Mitchell. Ravines, hills, you know, valleys. So Ukraine is a lot like my state, South Dakota. Rolling hills, and then you go towards the west. Oops. And you get, well, mountains in the background. So it's hilly. It's not, I wouldn't say mountainous, but Ukraine has slow rolling hills. Yeah, Niels, that's a total different thing. You know, the fjords up here are beautiful. Let me zoom in. So you know, it's not hills like this. You know, it's older hills, rolling hills. You're not changing elevation with every step, but you know, you go 100 meters or 100 yards and you've gone up and downhill in Ukraine. Anyways, I just wanted to give a little bit of visual reference for those that might have missed, you know, might not have been there, might not have seen it. You know, just even going middle of the West here. Again, middle Ukrainians love their rivers and lakes. You know, hill right beside the river. You know, hill. About the only place where I would say, let me go in. There has to be something here. Let's try this one. Middle of a village. Not a good example. Let's try up here by Vasilki. Okay. Big number one in the middle of the picture. You know, I'd say it's almost flat, but you still see a little bit of hills, rolling hills. So, and in the Trump speech that he played, you know, he said millions of people are dead. Yeah, unfortunately, most of that's Ukrainian civilians that Russia has killed. Anyways, I just wanted to give a bit of a visual on that. Yeah, I'm not going to see anything in the middle of an old church. So, again, deep south in occupied Ukraine, rolling hills, valleys. Pretty much anywhere you go in Ukraine, you're going to have similar terrain. Some of it's flatter, some of it's hillier, some of it's mountainous, some of it's swamp, some of it's river. You know, saying Ukraine is flat is like saying the United States has one accent. Let's try it down here by Berdyansk. So, this doesn't really count. It's an old quarry, I think. But, you even look in the background, you have the edge of the ridge drop down into flatland. Small rolling hills over here. But this is about as flat as it gets in Ukraine. And you still see a little bit of hills, a little bit, it's not flat, just rolling hills. Like this right here, you could hide a tank behind this hill and not see it from the other side. So, and like I said, that was really down far south here by Berdiansk, Melitopol. That was that one right there. Yeah. Check one more. Oh, inside a village, so not going to be the greatest one to look at. Let's try. Oh, half village, half town. You see the hill right there, drops, that goes down the other side, slope up over here, heavily forested in that area. Let's try one more. That must have been aliens. But it's not the sun. But again, hill right there, a little bit of flat ground. Okay, that's freaking cute right there. So, just wanted to give you guys a bit of a visual reference for what's being talked about. Here we are right next to a little river, and you maybe see 50 yards, and then the hill goes down. Can't really see anything else the rest of the way because the reeds are in the way, but one more. I could do this all night, so you guys are gonna have to stop me. I'm gonna have to stop myself. Let's see, does this have one? Nope, the aliens weren't flying here. But you can see this, the gentle uphill, and then drop down, hill again, downhill, and then a little bit of an uphill. Not like in Kansas where you see perfectly flat for miles and miles. I mean, you have to kind of ignore where the image is spliced together. It is what it is. Anyways, I thought you guys would enjoy that little view. Time to get down to business. Oh, no, you're right on time, KKGG. It's just I wanted to show a little bit of Ukraine. Trump was sitting there saying today that, it's flat. The bullets go for miles. There's millions of people dead. And just, Greg was sitting there saying how elevation changes and stuff, saying, talking about how Trump was wrong, and I just wanted to give you guys a visual reference. Yes, there are some flat areas, but most of Ukraine is rolling hills, like, you know, upstate New York, South Dakota. It's not flat, anywhere near flat like Kansas. I just wanted to give you guys a visual reference on that. Andrew Petrie, good to see you. Mitch Ashdown, hello. Kisna, Blue, Anna B, McPigeon, Blonde, good to see you here. Sirimar, good to see you. Anna B. David N, what a coincidence. Nikki Hill, good to see you. Dark Oblation, good to see you. The real Vladimir Putler is here. Yeah. Oh, you haven't run out of coffee in Moscow yet, Putin? Earth is flat. Well, obviously, the oceans aren't carbonated, so yes, the Earth is flat. Vladimir Putin was replying to Andrew, fat fingers, but I read that as flat fingers. Sometimes having dyslexia can lead to funny instances. Anyways, isn't down south? Mertzi asked if down south where Ukraine is flatter. Yeah, it's flatter in the south, but it's still like low rolling hills. I can do a topographic, but it really doesn't drive home the point. But you can see some of the ridges here, but it doesn't really give you the height differences on some of these. So you see there's like little terrain variations all over the place. Up here by Slovansk, you can see the river valleys, Kramatorsk, Chasiv Yar, Bakhmut area, Ivaniska, where we were at. Come down here to Toretsk, you get the river valley here. Little hills and valleys here, there. Ridgeline up here. Come over here to Pokrovsk, River Valley. A little bit of hills here, bigger hills this way. Seladov, hills right here. River Valley. Korokovo. Yes, this area is a flat, but then you have a river valley that drops down, and then a rise up north of Shavenko. Sansivka rises up to a river, to a hilltop. So yeah, there is some areas that are flat, like this right here. This is all pretty much flat ground. There's a little bit of a dip here, but then you come up against this river, and it's a huge uphill into like Korokiva. Let me see if I could get a good picture here. So this is where they're fighting right now. Hills, valleys, rivers, marshland. These are the roads they're driving on. Except worse, probably. these are roads without tanks, without supply vehicles, 2-ton trucks. Let's see, between Ukrainska and Lysivka. So yeah, you got a little bit of flat ground here, but then there's a hill. And this is all uphill behind them. Seam of the picture, so don't mind that. But then, he's sitting in almost in a little bit of a valley here. Or it's uphill this way, going up the street. Yeah, okay, I spent too much time on this here, but yeah. Nice little forest path right into a super dense forest. And aliens again. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that it's, let's see if there's a picture. Nice outlook from about midway up the hill on one side, looking down into the rolling hills towards a village with a lake. That's the terrain they're fighting in. It doesn't make it easy, but we always talk about Mirolubivka, Promin. So hill going up, and then that's where the Russians are coming from, down here. Down a little bit of flatland and then another hill. So it's not flat by no means. Wish there was one like closer to where the front actually is. Oh, I think I know where one's at. Kramatorsk, Servisk. I think this is a picture I've looked at before. So this is just outside of Servisk. Old mining site. Of course, hills down into a flatter section, and then behind that flatter section's another hill. So, yeah. Sorry. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, flat except for the ups and downs. I wouldn't say Ukraine's mountainous, but it's hills. Hey, Spider Fate. Thanks for joining us on your lunch break. The Black Void. Anyways, let's get into it. I could sit there all day and look at pictures of Ukraine and daydream, get homesick. Anyways, operational information as of 8 a.m. December 22nd, 2024, regarding the Russian invasion. And as always, we start with glory to Ukraine. The 1033rd day of the large-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has begun. The situation at the front remains difficult. The enemy, using its superiority in manpower and equipment, is attacking our positions. Oh, and I have a guest with me today. Defenders are steadfastly holding back the onslaught of Russian occupiers, inflicting significant losses on them. In total, 186 combat clashes were recorded over the past day. Yesterday, the enemy launched one missile strike on the positions of Ukrainian units and settlements, as well as 37 airstrikes, dropping 70 anti-aircraft missiles. Glide bombs should be the translation, but it's not translated correctly. In addition, it carried out more than 5,000 shellings of settlements and positions of our troops. 137 of those were from multiple launch rocket systems. I'm going to take a drink before I get into that part. The aggressor carried out airstrikes, in particular near the settlements of Ivanivka, Yampolivka, Zakini, Servisk, Ivanivka, Markova, Chasivyar, Konstantinivka, Romanivka, Katrinivka, Udanshi, Oleksandropol, Pokrovsk, Lysivka, Zizorki, Trimivka, Sadova, Pedronips, the Dnipro River, and Antonivka. Yesterday, the missile troops and artillery of the defense forces carried out 10 strikes on areas of concentration of enemy personnel and munitions, and get into the Kharkiv direction. The enemy continued assault operations. In total, 6 combat clashes took place. Fighting took place in the areas of Kozachi Lopan, Versoka Yarga, and Voschansk. That is an interesting update for one reason. This is Kharkiv down here, Voschansk is over here, and Kozachi Lopan and Vysoka Yara is here. Russians are trying to make another front in Kharkiv Oblast with roads that go directly into Kharkiv city. These are major highways, paved roads. You know you're on camera, right? Oh, okay. The little monster behind me. Oops. This one, not that one. This one. It's her special time of the month or year, however that works with dogs. So she's mad at the pink bear and then, well, does unspeakable things to it. So I'm hearing that behind my head as I'm trying to do the updates for it, and it's distracting. Oh, sorry. Yeah, he definitely does not know what the hill he is talking about. I like that one, Kinza. In the Kupiansk direction, 4 enemy attacks took place during the day. The defense forces repelled the enemy assault actions near Petropavlivka and Krugalivka. and Petropavlivka. Oh, that's up here. Sorry. Petropavlivka and Krugalivka. I have to figure out where that one's at. Krugalivka. So up north here and here. They're starting to split their attacks up again. Thankfully, there's not many attacks in this area, only 4 attacks. Going to the Lamansky direction, the enemy attacked 20 times, tried to advance near Zelenigay, Rivka, Nadia, Terny, and Ivanivka. Nadia is this little tiny, poor excuse for a city name because I don't know why Deep State decides to use this font. It's impossible to read. Burgerivka is there. And Ivanivka is here. Yampolivka is there. Again, pushing up towards the north. They really want to get towards the Oskil River. This is like the little bit of area that they don't control of Luhansk Oblast. And they're really, really trying to consolidate the entire region. You can see the border here. And service direction. Using aviation in the service direction, the enemy attacked twice in the directions of Verkno-Kamansky and Bilgorivka. You guys may know service direction from the K2 Brigade. Verkno-Kamansky, Bilgorivka. 4 attacks in that area. In the Kramatorsk direction, the occupiers carried out 2 assaults near Stukochok, and in the Toretsk direction, the enemy carried out 6 attacks in the areas of Toretsk and Druzhba. Come back to the Prokhorovsk direction. Coming down south of Kramatorsk, Chasiv Yar. And this is the first time I've really heard of this city. Unless it's a mispronunciation and Stupochki is the meant to be name. I'm gonna assume it's supposed to be Stupochki. Sorry. And of course Toretsk and Druzhba is here, mostly occupied, but Ukraine is still holding part of the settlements. So, Ender Petrie says, I give to a country I've never been to. You don't ever have to meet somebody to know them. A lot of us do that on the internet. Mertzi I haven't met Mertzi, but I've talked to him quite a bit. Good guy. All of you. I've never actually met any of you guys in person, but here we are. I consider you friends. I hope you do the same. In the Pacross direction, I feel like I have an X-rated show going on behind me. In the Pacross direction, our defenders repelled 29 defensive actions of the aggressor near Mirolubivka, Promin, Lisivka, Zeleny, Novatrud, Dushenki, and Nova Vasilivka. The enemy actively used aviation. Going down from Turetsk to Pokrovsk area. Again, similar settlements. Mirolubivka, Promin, Lisivka, Zeleny, Novatrud, Novovasilivka. Sonia, please stop. I'm embarrassed for my dog. So I'm sorry. Oh, man. Thankfully, it's mostly behind my head, so you guys aren't seeing it, but I'm hearing it, and it's like, oh. In the Kharkiv direction, the defense forces repelled 15 attacks in the areas of Staraturny, Kharkiv, I'm guessing that's supposed to be Korokovo, and Dacheny. Good to see that the number of attacks in this area are calming down a little bit, giving those guys a little bit of a reprieve. Sansivka, Staraturny, Kurokov, and Dacheny. Unfortunately, the break for these guys is not a happy one for these guys in the Vermitz direction. According to updated information, the enemy carried out 47 attacks on our positions near Upensivka, Yantarny, Konstantinopolsky, Novosilka, Blahodatny, and in the direction of Rozhiny and Oridny. So we don't have to go far. Kurokova, Yaridny, Konstantinopolsky, Upensivka, Rozdolny, Novosilka, Novosilka is here. There we go. So spreading out the attacks, but there is a lot of attacks going on in this area. And as you can see, a lot of small changes. So it looks like Russia has been able to close off this pocket by Blahodatny. There are no reports if Ukrainian troops are in this area or not. This is just confirmed areas by Deep State. This could be Russian controlled, but there's just no videos of Russians in this area. So it's an unknown. It's concerning. I would like to know what's going on. I'm sure a lot of people would. Another area of interest up here is, Russians controlled this landing. They were essentially stranded there when their assault got taken out, their armored vehicles, and the troops occupied that forest line. According to Deep State, they don't control that forest line anymore, but there was other gains of farm fields to the south of it. Over the past 24 hours, Ukrainian positions in the Orahiv direction were attacked 7 times near Nova Andriivka and Oradny. Oh, Nova Andriivka and Pyatachki. I'm going to go over that one directly, even though it's a small number of assaults. Mainly because I don't know where that town is. So Nova Andriivka is here. Okay. So it's over here closer to Kamansky. Piatiski. So the attacks in this direction were here and over here. Moving on to the Dnipro direction, the Dnipro River direction. Our defenders repelled 5 assault actions. The enemy was unsuccessful. The defense forces of Ukraine continued to repel attacks by units of the occupation army in Kursk region. Oh, I apologize. The Dnieper River direction is this area here. Oh, however, you can assume that the attacks are mainly happening in this delta area. Over the past day, the enemy has made 41 attempts to push back Ukrainian defenders in the Kursk direction. There's no signs of enemy offensive formations in the Volyn or Polisia directions. Border of Chernihiv and Sumy regions, the Russians are still using artillery on the areas of Ukrainian settlements, conducting reconnaissance as well. Our soldiers are actively inflicting significant losses in manpower and equipment on the occupation forces. They go into the losses. We'll cover that with the graphic. Join the defense forces. Together we will win. Razom de Pereможemo. I love that they end it with that, because that's how we have to be together. That's the one thing why I like this Trucks for Under the Christmas Tree campaign. I forgot to do this, so I'll take a minute to copy the link, paste it in chat, and pin it to the chat. Our portion of the fundraiser has made it up to $869.07. Yeah, I know it's euros, but my brain functions in dollars. The new donor is Deborah for $21.39. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for supporting Ukraine and getting the truck to the medics. I should have refreshed this just to make sure. So yeah, they took out more for processing. So we're at $8.68 and 62 cents. Go to the combination. Gonna refresh, and we're at $98,903.25. So $1,097 away from having 10 trucks fundraised in 1 week. Goal is to have 15 trucks, and donations go to more than just supporting that one unit. 1st Battalion of the International Legion, 14 separate mechanized brigade, medical team working with the 95th, 67th, and 35th brigades, 237th Battalion, 129th Brigade, a drone unit in Kherson. We all know what everybody is calling a name. I don't like to say what's happening in Kherson. You know, you have to remember Kherson, Russia is training their drone operators by targeting civilians in Kherson. Helping these guys out directly affects that because they can counterattack the drone operators with other drones. So helping these guys out will do amazing things for the civilians in Kherson. 82nd Air Assault Brigade, Recon Company, Crimea. I'm not sure how that's supposed to pronounce. It's supposed to be Chimera. I don't know. Anyways, the special unit needs help with battle tasks. 119th Brigade of the 166th Battalion in Liman. This was the unit my fundraiser was linked to, the International Legion Alpha 2 Company, medics for medical evacuation. 3rd Self-Propelled Artillery Brigade of the 5th Separate Assault Brigade. 2 artillery platoons working with pickup trucks refitted with MLRS systems. These trucks are really cool that Cars for Ukraine does. You see one launching there. Chimera. Was that closer? So, a big variety of units and tasks that we're fundraising for. It's important to note that these trucks are basically bought in UK because it's cheaper there than anywhere else closer to the front, closer to Ukraine. Driven to Ukraine, and all the work's done in Ukraine. The any repairs to the engine, to the car, the painting, the armoring, all that's done in Ukraine. So it more than just gives these guys a vehicle. It gives somebody a job fixing the vehicles, gives a painter a job painting them, welders welding the armor in. So it's you're giving more than just a truck. Okay, so Chimera. Well, and of course, to help gather funds for this, you guys saw it before. You know, there's a pretty good chunk missing. We completed a single truck during Shill's stream the other day. I said if we can finish off the truck, we were like 1,200 or something like that away from the truck. I said if we could finish off the truck before the stream ends, I'll do a spoonful on the Shills. You can watch the whole thing, but I made a bit of a short.
Okay,
and
you can see on your nose here soon. Root them out. Which will prevent you from getting turned around and then just dead down there.
Oh my God. Okay. Hey, Kenji, we don't have 1,000 yet on your account.
I don't care. We got 1,000 on the stream right now, so I'll go for it. All right. Yeah, that's
So the person that it was a single person that donated $1,800. Things we do for Ukraine.
Because this could come out.
Chat's like, Canty, no. It's too late. This is not what I meant. Oh, yeah. That's rough. Yeah, look, you can trace. You definitely drink some water or something. Yeah, you did good.
His esophagus and colon must be made of steel because he's got balls of steel. So.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I was trying to say Ukrainian,
You can see,
but my mouth was so on fire I couldn't even talk.
which will prevent you from getting turned around and then just dead down there.
Oh my god. Okay. Hey, Kenji, we don't have 1,000 yet on your account.
And of course, my bunny, my kit, and one of my postcards. It's sitting in front of me right now.
Yeah, that's very good. Yo.
The things we do. The things we do for Ukraine, yeah. So, deal still stands. This reaches 1,000, and I'll do live on one of my streams here. Yeah, that doesn't help. KKGG Kaya. Yeah. Hooked on Phonics fucked me up. Pardon my language there, but I just wanted to go over that really quick. Make sure you guys keep it in mind this Christmas. These trucks save lives, and what better gift than you can give than somebody's surviving an injury they wouldn't have otherwise. Well, thanks for listening to the spiel. Thank you for donating to Ukraine. I appreciate all the love and support you guys give to Ukraine. Honestly, for doing my first fundraiser with my stream, I'm impressed that we've gotten this much. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Combat losses for the Russian Federation. As of December 22nd, the 1033rd day of the war, today Russia lost 1,820 personnel, 15 tanks, 29 APVs, 32 artillery systems, and one of my favorite numbers to see go up, the anti-aircraft warfare systems. 3 of them lost today. These are like the S-300s, S-400s, and unfortunately Russia does not use those missiles to attack aircraft. They target them against Ukrainian cities to cause civilian casualties. So that's why I like seeing those destroyed. They can't be used against civilians anymore. Your show over with, Sonia? She's like she headed half out the door, kind of just stared at me like, what? Sorry. 50 UAVs, 81 vehicles. So Ukraine putting up a lot of rusting junk, Russian junk in Ukraine, and making sure it stays here. Stays there, here, what, you know what I mean. Great work by the Ukrainian forces, taking those vehicles out for today. Zelensky has a speech today, but it wasn't directed towards us.
Пане міністре, шановні пані та панове українські дипломати, усі працівники і працівниці дипломатичної служби нашої держави. Вітаю вас з професійним.
There are hundreds of areas of relations in the world where Ukraine needs a real, concrete, tangible result. And this is exactly the work of our diplomats. To be in all the necessary offices, to be in the media, to be in the communication with all the people necessary for Ukraine and to be understood so that Ukraine has what it needs. I thank all those who work in this way, who work not just for fatigue at the end of the working day, but for the gratitude of their immediate superior, not from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., but for the result of Ukraine. To be an ambassador of Ukraine, to be a Ukrainian diplomat, is to be a person who can answer absolutely specifically to the question of what exactly you have done for our approaching peace, to protect the interests of Ukraine and Ukrainians. Today, I congratulate the employees of Ukrainian diplomacy on their professional day and name the main priorities and guidelines for the work of diplomacy in the coming year. That was the English that was given. You're just now finding that out? That was towards Neil saying Chad is weird. Now that's all the English that they give for this speech. But as you can see, it's like a 8-9 minute long speech. It's in Ukrainian. There's no subtitles, unfortunately. So I'm sure they're talking about more than just what was given to us. Yeah, YouTube has funny things that they don't allow. As you can see, more air alerts have dropped off. Mykolaiv at 30 minutes, Chernihiv at 58 minutes, Donetsk at 25. Oh, Adam, my sinuses were clear for like 4 hours. I didn't have to blow my nose, nothing. I could just breathe freely for quite a few hours. It wasn't until today that things started tasting normal again. Yes, my dog's name is Sonia. Sonia in Ukrainian means sleepy. And she still lives up to that from time to time. But when we got her as a puppy, she would play for like 2 or 3 minutes and then sleep for 2 or 3 hours. So she was the sleepy puppy. So Sonia. Covered the trucks, covered that. Videos from Telegram today. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything new that's popped up. I showed this one before. But Blue, my friend, be safe. Don't be working in no Russian fireworks center.
Мужики!
I have to say, for as bad as I've seen Russian drivers in other videos, these guys drive really good in reverse. Maybe they went to the school of Tomato or Tomater driving. Well, let's go back up to the start of the day. And starting day with the drones. 103 UAVs were fired by Russia. 52 were shot down. 44 drones failed to reach their targets due to electronic warfare. So they got 96 out of 103. One UAV flew towards Belarus, leaving 6 UAVs that hit their targets, unfortunately. Kherson, Mykolaiv, Chernihiv, Sumy, Zhytomyr, and Kyiv regions. Private businesses, apartment buildings, and a private property were damaged due to the Russian attack. Thankfully, there were no casualties. It doesn't give the unit name, but Russian assault was repelled in the Kupiansk direction today. Or the video was posted today, I should say. You got a tank. Hold on, let me go back. Tank leading the way with all the electronic warfare and the BMPs behind it. Took out the rear vehicle. Now they're shooting at the tank. I can't see what they're trying to zoom in on there. And you see they took out the tank in the lead. Everybody has to stop. And then they take out the BMPs behind it, dropping the bombs from the drone. And just pointed out here, you know, ravine, forested areas. It'd be almost impossible to see these guys without the infrared. Thank you for blurring that, whoever made this video. See, there's a lot of videos out there like this that don't get blurred and show the results of those, and YouTube does not let us do that without severe restrictions put on the channel, warnings. Going for a little bit lighter side, I'm just going to play this, mute my mic. Hopefully I remember to turn it off. Or turn it, I'll remember to turn it off, but hopefully I'll remember to turn it back on when this is over. If not, I'll have my normal, hey, Canty, your mic night.
Doesn't play for the money he wins. He don't play for respect. He deals the cards to find the answer. Sacred geometry of chance. The the numbers there to dance. Know that the spades are the swords of a soldier. Know that the clubs are weapons of war. Know the diamonds mean money for this art. That's not the shape of my heart. He may play the jack of diamonds. He may lay the queen of spades. He may conceal the king in his hand, while the memory of it fades. Know that the spades are the swords of a soldier. Know that the clubs are weapons of war. Know the diamonds are money for this art. That's not the shape of my heart. That's not the shape of my If I told you that I loved you, maybe think there's something wrong. I'm not alone, with too many faces. This mask I wear is one. For those who speak know nothing, but find out to their cost. Like those who curse their luck in too many places, and those who fear of lost. Know that the spades are the swords of a soldier. Know that the clubs are weapons of war. That's not the shape of my heart. That's not the shape of my heart. That's not the shape of my heart. Shape of my
That was super cool. I didn't realize that was actually Sting. Oh. So, okay, so we went to. Oh. What? You want to say something? Say something. Anyways, that was cool. Okay, somebody wants to say hi. So you want to say hi? Say hi, Sonia. Sonia, look up. You know, dogs are just like people. They want to be loved too. They want attention, and I have not given her the attention she wants today. Moving on to the next video. Russians threw a Molotov at a police station in Russia today. The Russians are actually protesting at least a little bit. Oh, not much to the video, but you know, they got all that snow, throw the snow on it. Don't put it out with your foot. Another assault repelled. Division. Oh. So this is what it takes to set up and do drone operations every day.
Ще маленький треба міні-бар, ще маленький треба міні-ган, ще маленький просто великань, що від мене треба вам.
Hey Bill's Garage, good to see you.
Перманентно ми в астралі, корпоративний андеграунд стане на нашій магістралі. Передостанні спроби вчитись, запобігати катастрофам. Стереотипи, сферами впливу, нас задавити нова спроба. Проти пізно було бути перед тим, як ми вписались, ми змінили парадигму. Діти бачать, ким ми стали, мені в душі 16, я закоханий, де всі за парі. Індустрія нас дивує лиш зірками від Субару. Не заборонити бари, в наших треках ми не брешем. Ти ковтаєш, більше не називатимуть твій подих фрешер. Не подивись,
The work is done. Load everything back up. Go home and start the day all over again. This one is really funny. Third assault took out a bunch of Russians and looted a couple electric scooters from the Russians and decided to take a ride home. Unfortunately, the roads aren't very smooth. But 3rd Assault Brigade coming back with their newly acquired scooters from the Russians. Unfortunately, there is another storm in the Black Sea, and previous cleanup efforts are getting blown back into the ocean and washing up on other beaches. Expect to see more fuel oil on the beaches in the morning. An ammo depot in Rostov was blown up today. Okay, let me turn up the sound just to scare Blue a little bit, thinking the fireworks are going off. Yeah, the problem is with the bags is this is civilians doing the cleanup. There is no governmental support from either the regions or Russia itself to do this cleanup. So that's what's happening. There was another report where dolphins had washed up on the beaches dead. I didn't want to show that because, well, it tugged at my heartstrings and I didn't want to cry on stream. Being honest. There was another assault film released where Russians are using civilian vehicles, no armored vehicles. Oh yeah, it's seeping out. That's the thing, Mitch, is I'll go back to that video here in a second, but I just want to point out the importance of this, because an assault just with civilian vehicles is something fairly new for Russia. I know people have talked in the past about Russia running out of armored vehicles. Obviously, they're not out because we see them in other directions, but this is the second recorded assault without any armor, just civilian vehicles. Can only hope this becomes a more common thing because these civilian vehicles are a lot easier to take out. And makes life easier for Ukraine. But going back to this video... Yes. When it goes into the close-up here, let me make this full screen. You see the oil's leaking out of these bags. The regional governor only assigned 2 trucks to haul these bags away, so the civilians were cleaning it up faster than the trucks could haul it away. So they sat there. Now there's a storm. The bags are getting washed away and washed up on other beaches. And as you can see, it's leaking all over the place. Well, it's not that just that they're single hulled. They were double hulled. They had the interior tank and then the hull on the outside, so it was double hulled. But you're talking 40 to 50-year-old tanker ships that Russia is using. You know, the nose broke off of one of the ships. Yeah, you tell them. I don't know if my mic picked that up, but when I said that, she let out like a little growl bark. And yeah, she's perfectly content to sit here and just be in my arms. Some of you may know this town, some of you may not. This is New York. This is what's left after the Russian Mir. Rossiya Mir, translate to Russian peace or Russian world. And you see all the houses that don't have roofs. It's just the walls. Entire apartment buildings. Very few buildings escape damage in New York. Put that, if you guys don't know where that's at, come back to that really quick. Here we are, just south of Toretsk, the city of New York. That's this area here. Let me go to it on Google Maps. Bakhmut, Toretsk, New York. So this is what it looked like before Russia came to liberate Ukraine. You know, beautiful green scenery, gardens growing food and vegetables for people. And this is it now. Yeah, I know, that's sad, huh? That is the Russian Mir. That is Russian peace, the Russian world that they want to bring to Ukraine. Rubble and desolated landscapes. You know, you get heavy after holding you a while. Google News. You ready to go? Going into the news from mainstream media, mass media, however you want to call this. Russia is executing more and more Ukrainian prisoners of war. There was another video today that was released of 5 Ukrainian soldiers being executed after surrendering. It's going to get to the point where Ukrainians will not surrender. They'd rather die. You know, if they're going to be shot anyways as prisoners, they're going to keep fighting regardless. And Russia's going to have even more casualties because Ukrainians will stop surrendering. This is a very dumb move by Russia. It is a war crime. And Russia needs to be made accountable for this utter garbage. Not going to cover Trump. You know, a lot of things are being said about Trump, and Trump's not saying a whole lot. It doesn't give me the warm fuzzies at all. So, until he starts saying something, fuck him. Ukraine's all-robot assault force just won its first battle. Ukrainian National Guard Brigade just orchestrated an all-robot combined arms operation, mixing crawling and flying drones for an assault on Russian positions in Kharkiv Oblast. We are talking about dozens of units of robotic and unmanned vehicles simultaneously on a small section of the front. It was an impressive technological feat and a worrying sign of weakness on the part of the overstretched. Really? You have such a fucking good story and you ruin it with shit like this. You know, putting out an unmanned assault, and it's a worrying sign of weakness for overstretched Ukrainian forces. I'm not even going to read the rest of the article. Fuck you, Forbes. Sorry, I guess I'm in a mood tonight. Guardian, Ukraine strikes Russia in major drone attack 1,000 kilometers from the front line. Showed you the video of that yesterday. These guys are just now reporting on it. 3 days ago story. Guardian covering the speech, but you guys screwed up with this one, so I'm not. This is Forbes reporting on the first all pickup truck assault by Russia. I'm not saying it's the first one, but it's the first documented one. Nutcracker is a casualty of a quarantine of Russian culture in Lithuania. Yeah, the New York Times is definitely parroting Russia's narrative. Why else would that be a story? What? Russia's war machine on fumes as industry warns of bankruptcies. Interesting. Oh, I haven't heard this one in a while. The Kremlin gets old tanks from the movie studio. The war in Ukraine is draining Russians' inventory of weapons faster than replacements can be built, while industries critical to the defense sector warn on high interest rates. More evidence is piling up that Russia's military-industrial complex is nearing the brink after nearly 3 years of fighting in Ukraine. Putler mobilized the economy for Russia's invasion, resulting in a massive amount of state funds for defense contractors, along with low unemployment as working-age people built weapons in factories and sent to the front lines as meat waves. But that also stoked inflation, which hit 9% and even forced Putin to acknowledge that it's alarming. Russia's central bank has hiked its benchmark rate to 21% to rein in the inflation, but businesses are feeling the strain of all that monetary tightening. Leaders in the defense industry and adjacent sectors that are critical to the war machine have sounded alarms. The head of the state arms giant Rostec warned that if rates stay high, then practically a majority of our enterprises will go bankrupt. A majority of our enterprises will go bankrupt. The sanctions are finally starting to work. You know, they don't happen. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's finally starting to happen. And now we have, unfortunately, it's all when everything's in turmoil. Trump's coming in. Is he going to support Ukraine or not? And it's like, right when there's victory in sight, you know, a fair and just victory for Ukraine in sight, everybody wants to start talking peace deals. I haven't seen the numbers. I wish I could so I can give a more accurate statement, but some of the other people that I have talked to have said Russia won't last another year, maybe won't even last another 6 months because of their financial crisis, because of the sanctions, because of the money that we locked away from Russia. And now everything's up in air, don't know what we're going to do. I can't wait to hear something solid. Just so we know where we stand. But there you go, Fortune magazine telling us Russia's defense sector is about to collapse. key areas of mechanical engineering could collapse as well. Contractors in the defense industry are reporting non-payments and higher financing costs. Other analysis have predicted that Russia's economy can't sustain Putin's war on Ukraine past next year. What I just said. Other experts that I've talked to that know the numbers for Russia don't think it can last through 2025. Some of them have said 6 months. Unfortunately, that's not quotable numbers, and I can't speak for specifics, but here it is with Washington Post analysts saying 2025 is the end. For example, the Russian military is losing about 320 tank and artillery cannon barrels a month, while Russian factories can only produce 20 a month, forcing the Kremlin to dig into aging Soviet stockpiles. But that's not enough. The Russians will soon run out of barrels in 2025. According to analysis by Foreign Policy magazine. The situation was dire even last year when Russia's largest movie studio donated about 50 tanks and armored vehicles from the 50s that it had been using as props. Can you imagine the United States going to Hollywood and saying, "Give us your tanks, we're out of them"? That's what happened earlier this. No, that was last year. That was 2023. I knew they needed them, so I got in touch with the defense ministry, and they took these vehicles. Moscow Film Director General told Putin during his meeting last month. That's the state of affairs in Russia. And it saddens me that we're at that point now, and everything's thrown up in the air. Even with Biden's slow rolling aid, Trump's lack of aid during his time, Ukraine has still pushed Russia to that point with the sanctions in place, and we're about to give up on it. Just to drive that point home, see if I could find this video really quick. Covert cabal. Here you go. I won't play the whole video, but he goes on to talk about this Russian service yard for tanks. Goes through and here's a picture of it back in the day. See all the vehicles lined up here. These are all tanks. These are APCs, BEMPAs. Close in picture, more tanks, more tanks, more tanks, more tanks, all tanks. And, picture from the area itself, the guys working on the tanks. And here's the current picture. All those tanks are gone. So from 324 in 2021 to 0 in 2024. And all the other ones have taken significant declines. If you want to watch this full video, Covert Cabal, he does an satellite analysis of Russian ammo depots and supply centers like this one. If you want to know for yourself, see the videos, see what he says. I'll link this particular video in chat. Check it out for yourself. These are the satellite pictures. He pays for these pictures and shows you the analysis and does it every year of every single supply depot Russia has. So definite shout out to Covert Cabal. Making sure we have the information we need. This is back in 2021 when the war first started. Huge amount of tanks sitting everywhere. And then these are the APCs. And now today. Well, not today, but this was like a month ago. See all these tanks? The turrets have been removed. Probably to see if the barrels could be reused, but these can never be used again. Yeah, definitely go check out his videos if you're interested in seeing how much Russia has pulled out of storage. Really interesting information. Thanks for putting it out there. With that, that's all I have for you today. Let me just check, make sure we haven't hit the 1,000. Okay, no change for our section of the fundraiser. A little bit of a change on the total for everybody working. Go down and do an update of everybody. ATP Geopolitics doing the lion's share, 36,490. Dimitri with War Translated, 20,117. Mercado Media with 14,547. Succumus with 9,823. Rick the Ukrainian, 5,038. That guy is a fundraising monster. Silicon Curtain, 4,818. Shills, 2,146. Johnny FD, 1,013. Me, 868. Philip Ittner, 507. Thank you guys so much. I never expected to reach this, to be honest. I thought 1,000 was going to be pretty much the max we could do. And we're only halfway through the fundraiser time frame. And we're already 868. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate each and every one of you that's donated. And as for that, Robert, thank you for being the first donator. I wasn't even able to make it in. I was second. Mitch Ashdown, first time. Michael or Michelle donated on everybody's campaign. Aussie, but I'm told not Aussie T. Anonymous, which was KKGG. Linda, KKGG again. Nikki Hill. The real Aussie T. Kathy Somar. Heather. K-Bell. The Wizard of Ooze, Brian Green, thank you so much. Mitch for the second time, thank you again. Alexander, thank you so much. Golby, thank you for your donation. And Deborah, thank you. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. And only 18 of them shown here. There's 26 donations, so another 8 anonymous donations. So thank you to the Anonymous. You have to remember Mertzi. Mertzi says he felt bad for watching. Let me go full screen here. Mertzi says, I felt bad watching you eat the horseradish. I wouldn't fault you for dropping that. I'm not dropping it. My original deal, oh God, that's still strong as hell, was a spoonful for every 1,000. You guys get the 1,000. I'll do another spoonful on this stream just for you guys. Get to 2,000, I'm going to do another spoonful. Get to 9,000, well, that's 9 spoonfuls throughout on this stream. And if by some miracle we get to the full truck, the full 10,000, I'm going to do the whole jar. I may just do a stream just of that, but you guys will see it live on camera here. I do like the taste of horseradish, but not that much. I put maybe a teaspoon on a hot dog. Yes, I enjoy the flavor. I enjoy the spiciness, but that's like overload. That's I'm not going to say what happened afterwards because, my biscuits were burning. So, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's not going to be comfortable. Doesn't matter. Not to me. The real talk time. In 2017, I was hit by a drunk driver. Sent to the ER. Didn't know if I'd be able to walk again until the swelling went down, all that horse hockey. I was depressed. Very much so, if you get my meaning. I've been studying Ukraine since like 95, learning about the medieval history of it. Oh, okay, so that's a different Anonymous. Okay, KKGG. So when people like to brag about what they've done for Ukraine, I like to brag about what Ukraine's done for me. 6 months after that accident, I decided I was going to go visit old Kiev and Rus. Visit the old castles, go to Kiev, up to Novograd, Minsk, in the old Novograd Republic, check out all the old battle sites. And it took me almost 5 years to save up the money to do that trip. Picked out the hotels, what trains I'd have to take, what sites I wanted to see. Like, okay, I can start booking everything tomorrow. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Wake up and there's news of the invasion. Let me backtrack just a minute. Me deciding 6 months after that accident that my goal, literally, I hate putting this way, but I was saying it before, but I got just sidetracked. People like to brag about what they've done for Ukraine, how much they've raised. I like to brag what Ukraine's done for me. Deciding to take that trip to visit the castles in Lviv and Ivano-Frankish, that saved my life, literally. I was in a dark space before I decided to do that. That literally saved my life. So, saved up the money, getting ready to do the trip, and then the invasion starts. Instantly, the depression kicked right back in. For the first 4 months of the invasion, I was shut down. Literally driving to the grocery store, wondering if I should just, pull the wheel. And decided, no, this isn't it. I need to look into this more. I need to figure out what's going on. And Ukraine saved my life a second time. At first I figured, no, I'll wait till after the war, go do my trip, be the tourist. And I used a good portion of the money I saved up to buy a Nissan Navara in Poland. 56th Brigade was looking for a truck. I bought the truck. One of the guy's wives went to Poland to pick it up, brought it back to Ukraine, and that's where my fundraising and support of Ukraine started. I wish I could say that, no, I just want to help, but it's the help I do, these streams I do, it's more for me than, I hate to say it, but it's more for me. It keeps me going. It keeps me involved. It keeps me from going back to that dark place. Ukraine's done more for me than I've ever done. Anyways, what started this all, this trip down memory lane, was that Nissan Navara. It lasted 20 days on the front. But in that 20 days, they evacuated 17 wounded soldiers that survived. That Nissan Navara, that money for my holiday dream trip, that saved 17 lives. So that's what these cars mean to me. Now, these 15 vehicles we're trying to raise for as a group, you just extrapolate that out. How many lives are 15 vehicles? Now, how many of those guys are going to save? How many guys are these guys going to save? You know, everybody says, "Oh, you do so much for Ukraine." It's like, no, I still haven't done enough in my mind. I think everybody that tries to help feels that way, though. So, you know, at the end of my streams, like now, I always tell you guys, thank you for coming into the stream. Thank you for supporting me. Yeah, I don't make money off of YouTube. I don't show ads. I'm not here for money. I'm not asking for donations or Patreon or whatever. I get a disability check. I'm taken care of. You know, I'm not rich, but I don't want to be rich. I want to be a person. The stream, it's a stream. It's to get help for Ukraine. So, I always, after I say thank you for supporting the stream, I always say I especially thank you for supporting Ukraine. Now you guys know why. So seriously, thank you all for supporting Ukraine. Have a good night. Stay safe, everybody.
Czajka